When you think of a superhero group, what comes to mind? Chances are you're probably thinking of the Avengers or the Justice League. Well, for me, I think of the Brown Berets. The Brown Berets were a pro Chicano organization set to push the Chicano movement agenda forward through organized methods and tactics. After hearing this speech, you will know that the Brown Berets fought against an unjust system for equality. I am a Chicano who was born and raised in East Los Angeles, which is where this group was predominantly active. And after doing some research, I have become specialized in them. The injustice and maltreatment that they fought against is the same injustice that people within the United States and around the world are fighting against today. The Brown Berets tackled a lot of issues within the Chicano community. Today, we will be discussing 3 points that they fought for or against. The first being police brutality. Secondly, we will talk about their war on educational inequality. And finally, we will get into how they handled their lack of access to healthcare. Let's begin with police brutality. There was a lot of police brutality against the Hispanic community during the early 60s and late 70s. Chicanos were consistently becoming the victims of police abuse. Strikingly, sheriffs of the Los Angeles Police Department were harassing the community within East Los Angeles and the surrounding areas. According to Araceli Cruz from her article, The Brown Berets, as explained by founding member Dr. David Sanchez, published October 15, 2018, Dr. David Sanchez explains, I had a mistaken case of identity and got beaten up by some policemen, and after that, I had a different view of the world. Dr. David's mistreatment by the police is one of the main reasons why he started the Brown Berets, as he realized that his people were being exploited. Their race made them a target, and throughout Southern California, the cops were beating and killing them. The Brown Berets attempted to fight against this by way of protest, sit-ins, and militant organization. They organized protests to deliver speeches that demanded for a call to action. According to Jennifer Correa from Chicano Nationalism, the Brown Berets and Legal Social Control Axis September 2020, they protested at the sheriff's office in December of 1967 when a Mexican couple and their daughter were severely beaten, assaulted, kicked, and slapped before being arrested by police. This is the first time that the Brown Berets got a large amount of exposure within their community. And after this protest, Carlos Montes, co-founder of the Brown Berets, stated in an article by Emerson Tamer titled The Brown Berets Young Chicano Revolutionaries, Axis in September 2020. We also started working with car clubs in East LA to defend them against police abuse. We opened a local cultural center in East LA, the Piranha Coffee House. It became one of the meeting places for the Brown Berets. Ultimately, they were able to help defend against police abuse for their community and got exposure knowing that media attention would influence their goal of ending police brutality. Police brutality was one of the organization's main focal points, but let's get into educational inequality. Within the Hispanic community, their schools and school systems were in poor conditions. The Brown Berets started off as a group called the Young Citizens for Community Action in May of 1966. Their main goal at the time was to improve their substandard schools. As stated by Carlos Montes in the same Emerson Tamer article, Axis in September 2020, we also started working on the problems of the bad school conditions and the racist educational system. Our schools were old and in bad condition with high dropout, push-out, and racist administrators and teachers. To combat this, they decided to take the same route that the African Americans took in their civil rights movement by organizing, leading, and participating in protests, sit-ins, rallies, marches, and especially walkouts. According to Sichin Hernandez Martinez, the Brown Berets demanded a number of things for their schools. In his article, The Brown Berets involvement in civil rights movement, and impact on education. Axis in September 2020. The school walkouts of 1968. Students asked for a higher quality of education, more Mexican American teachers and advisors, and bilingual education, among other things. All forms of protests they performed had a major effect and eventually succeeded on changing school conditions for the better. Now that we've talked about educational inequality, allow me to inform you of the struggles with healthcare. Access to healthcare was largely unavailable to many within the Chicano community. A lot of Chicanos were not able to seek medical attention due to their economic or legal status. This caused a lot of problems because many families did not have health insurance. Families were not able to afford their medical bills after going to a hospital. Furthermore, some were even afraid of stepping foot inside of a hospital because they were fearful of getting caught as an illegal immigrant. The Brown Berets sought many ways on how to fix that problem. They organized and deliberated in many meetings. One of their most successful victories came when they opened up a Barrio Free Clinic in 1969. A clinic that the whole community was able to use for free without fear of huge medical bills or being exploited because of their immigration status. Gloria Arianes, a female leader of the Brown Berets, oversaw the clinic that was operated by an all-volunteer staff. That clinic not only granted access to healthcare to a community that was deprived of it, it also became a central part of their organization. In line with the Los Angeles Conservancy's article titled Brown Berets Headquarters, Access in September 2020, El Barrio Free Clinic was one of the organization's most significant headquarters as it served as the Berets' primary location, meeting location during the planning of the 1970s Chicano moratorium. After hearing how they handled their lack of access to healthcare, allow me to remind you what we've learned. You now have some understanding as to who the Brown Berets are. You should know by now that they stood up against police brutality, they successfully changed an educational system that was not fair, and lastly, they were able to find some relief to their absence of healthcare. The Brown Berets were a pro-Chicano organization that pushed the Chicano movement agenda forward through their organized tactics and methods. Today, their impact is still felt within the community, and for those of you who are Chicano, you should be proud of what this organization has accomplished for us. As Carlos Montes stated, the Brown Berets are a symbol of pride in our culture, in our race, and in our history. Thank you.